Morning gentlemen, so today we're looking at the robot vacuum. So with the robot vacuum task, let's start with the easy part. Rename it. We're going to select our playground. So our playground is going to be the art canvas, which just looks like this. It's quite nice, it's just blank and we don't have too much to worry about. So what we're going to do, first thing I always do when I'm doing a project like this where we need to go somewhere in particular, I always put my pen down and set the color to black, or doesn't really matter what color. That way when the robot drives forward, so let's drive forward and push play, you'll see we've left a little black line, and that way we can see where we've gone. So for this task we're going to do what we call a loop. So we want to do this task forever, and we're just going to keep driving around. And what we want to do is we want to drive forward until we sense a wall using our distance sensor. So we've got our distance here, and what we're going to do, we're going to say if our distance sensor in millimeters is less than 50, and we can drag these in. If it's less than 50, we want to if it senses the wall, we're going to go, let's go backward 200 mils actually. And then we want to turn right for 90 degrees. And if that's not true, we want to drive forward, and we can set this at any amount. I might do it at 50 mils just to make life a bit easier. So let's chuck all that in. So we want this little algorithm to run all the time. So I pop that in my forever, and what I might do, we'll go to third person view, push play, and we'll see what our robot does. Senses it, turns, fantastic. Now we could also set this up with our bump switches, and some of you that did the number maze might have used the bumper switches to detect when you hit a wall. But in this case we'll use the distance sensor. The distance sensor historically works really well on the virtual robot. In the actual robots we try not to use the distance sensor because it has a tendency to not work properly every time. So this is your vacuum cleaner. So remember, because we're doing this section over and over again, we put it in a forever loop, and we say if the distance is less than 50 millimeters, we're going to back up and reverse. Otherwise, if it's more than 50, just keep driving forward. Now, some interesting things happen when we add more speed. So historically, your robot is always set to 50% whenever you start a Vexcode project. So what we can do is we can also speed it up. Now speeding it up means that some things don't work as well. So you may find that sometimes your robot doesn't actually do what it's supposed to when you do it at full speed. The sensors take a little bit of time to work out what's going on. So just be aware that if your robot isn't doing what it's supposed to, turn the speed down and you usually have a much better time of it. I'll leave it with you, and this is Mr. Viger signing off.